Hi guys, Chris here, and I have with me the Smooth 3, which is an updated version of the just released Smooth Q that I only recently reviewed literally about 4 weeks ago or so. Now this is it right here, a very good gimbal. I really do like it. I've been using it quite a lot just for family kind of videos and things, just to get stable footage with my mobile phone. Now this one, how it has improved is they have increased the build quality, really. That's all made out of metal now. And what that has done has improved also the amount of weight it can take now. The gimbal can take an extra 40 grams and the battery will last for 2 hours, more than this one here, which gets about 12 hours battery life. We now have 14. So it's only minor differences. I'm going to compare both of these gimbals, get this one unboxed now, which is still in the wrapper, and see if it is really actually worth the extra cash to go for the more premium model over the already excellent Smooth Q version. So I'll give you a very quick look at the retail box here. On the back it just points out those features I just mentioned, the improvements really over the last one. So 14 hours of continuous work time, 5th gen stabilization system, which is the same as the Smooth Q. Now the instant manual zooming control, there are extra controls on here too, but that only works with the application if you pair it up with the app on there. And you can see that, yeah, there's just instant stabilization settings. So it does come with a case and a cable for charging it. And you can see portrait and then landscape modes. So just like this Smooth Q, it comes with this soft case, which is really good at protecting it. Put that aside for a second. There's a user guide, and this is all in English, which is great. Because the first version I got, the other version, that was the Chinese retail packaging on that one. So it's just telling you a lot of how to set things up. A lot of this is covering the application, which I'll briefly show you the Android app of that. Here we get a strap. That's for the case. So you can sling it over your shoulder if you wanted to. And then lastly, a standard USB to micro USB cable there. It almost looks like a small antique revolver pistol case or cover or something like that, doesn't it? Like if you're going to go through customs, they'll think, have you got a revolver in there or something, sir? No, I haven't, just a gimbal. Okay, so this opens up. And there I can see that the handle grip of it looks a lot like the Smooth C that I review. Now it's getting a bit confusing. The C I think is there's the Smooth 2, then the C, then the Q, and now the Smooth 3. So we have very similar joystick layout. This now all made out of metal. And we still have that thread at the bottom, so you can screw this onto your selfie sticks, your tripods, which is great if you want to get it real steady, very steady pans and things. Then of course you screw that onto a steady tripod. And up here we have the adjustment. Now this arm I can see is a little different to the Smooth Q. The grip to me looks, well, I wouldn't say identical, but similar. So this all is needed to loosen off and adjust that accordingly when you balance up your mobile phone you're going to put on there. But if you unscrew this, that's to flip around between the portrait and landscape modes. So I'm going to keep that in landscape at the moment. And here is the adjustment that we need to make along here. So this screw is to slide back and forth when balancing up the gimbal. So this needs to be loosened and that can be adjusted. You can see that sliding in and out there. So the controls on the side, we've got a settings mode here. So there are some extra buttons here. This is for the application. Then we've got the power on, of course. I won't touch that just yet. Photo mode, and then M. This is for your modes there. So you can go through that pan mode, the follow mode, and then the tilt mode, where you can control the tilt. And here we have a small scroll wheel for the zoom functions with the application when you pair that up via Bluetooth. And here, of course, that's micro USB 2 there for charging. And our USB port on here, actually, I've got that wrong. Where is the USB port for charging? That is a con of this model. I can see straight away that it cannot be used to charge your mobile phone at the same time like you can with the Smooth Q. I shall show you that here. Look, see, on the Smooth Q, we've got this right here, so you can plug in a cable, charge your phone at the same time. This is handy, but I honestly haven't used it yet, but if you're going to be recording for long periods, you're probably going to need this to actually charge your mobile phone before you run out of power there. And you can see, comparing both of them together there, that yes, there's a difference in quality. Now, holding both of them, yeah, it's pretty obvious that this one feels better in hand because it is made out of metal, and this, of course, being plastic. Although the ergonomics of that grip feels slightly better in hand, and you still have access to those controls there. So that's one of the downsides of the newer model, is it no longer supports charging your devices, which is a bit of a shame there. Now I can see why they made that design choice of not allowing or having the USB port on this to charge other devices, is because it has a user replaceable battery on here, which is really good. So the handle, bottom here, that unscrews. We can see we have a rubber seal around here, which is good. That'll keep dust and muck from getting inside. And here's the user replaceable battery, which is an IMR 26650, 3.7 volts, 4,600 milliamp hours. So it's going to be a problem that when the Smooth Q needs a replacement battery eventually, and imagine a couple of years time use, that how are you going to actually change it? You're going to have to crack open the whole thing. This, at least, very handy to swap out batteries, so you can put another one fully charged in and just keep going straight away. Okay, so let's have a look and see how it handles a very large mobile phone. This is my Xiaomi Mi Max. It's 6.4 inches. So it's pretty much the largest kind of phones you'll find out there. I know there are slightly larger than this, but it can handle it. Let's have a look how you put that in the grip. Now, it holds that really nice and steady. It's very secure, this grip. I would be perfectly fine having the latest mobile phone in here, an expensive one, and not worry about that slipping out. That is just super solid, really steady, so that is good. So to balance it, it's completely off balance at the moment. See, it's hanging down like that. In fact, that should be around that way, facing out backwards. So I need to loosen off the hinge here, and it'll have to probably go to the maximum in position in order to get that to, hang on, there we go, sorry, out. That's the best position there. It's as good as it's going to get balancing this one. And now to power it on, so just hitting the power button. There we go. That is now online, and that's handling that fine. See how that's working. So the modes we have, you can cycle through them. So first mode is the fixed mode, the follow. See how it's following around? You can move slightly. And if I tap and go into the fixed mode, which I think should be that one. See, now my hand is moving and it's staying fixed in the same position. This one I quite like, it's quite good, but the follow mode's probably the most used, I would say, if you're following, for example, a dog or your small child running around. That's probably one you would use. And this, of course, gives you control now to pan left and right there. Now, I found the sensitivity of the stick on the other versions and this one as well to be a little too quick for my own personal liking. But I'll show you now how, with the application, you can control and tweak that back. So here I have the application. It's called Zhiyun Assistant. You can get it from Play Store and Android. Now, I've already connected up to it. First thing first, you need to go into Bluetooth mode, connect up to it, of course, otherwise we can't do anything. So it's got some handy information here it tells you. It can tell you the exact pitch access, roll access, pan access. And here we have the battery life percent too. Very handy to know because otherwise we've got no way of knowing unless of course you left it to fully charge overnight. Then you know it'll be at 100%. Control, we can remotely control the gimbal from typical Bluetooth 4 distances. So here you can see now I'm controlling the tilt. And I'm controlling now that's panning up and down. And then of course can restore that, which I just did now straight away. So going out of this, I'll show you the most handiest setting. So you've got other things in here, like the camera application unfortunately does not work properly with Android, which is a bit of a con because you get various other features there, but apparently there's an update coming that will fix that soon. But it is working, so I've heard, with iOS. So if you've got an Apple iPhone, then it should be working for you, all those advanced camera features. But for me, the best setting is in here. So along here, we've got something called the control rate. Now this is for that joystick, which I find to be a little too sensitive. I'll show you. That is how fast it pans around, which for me is just way too quick. So you just go along here now and you change this to something like 10. I found around 10 is a good rate on all of them. And that will slow down that joystick so the pan rate is not so quick there. And you can get just smoother, nicer looking pans, just making things a little bit easier, I find. So that's slowed right down. And once I OK that, that'll save it on the gimbal. I don't need to keep setting that. And you can see that is quite a bit slower there. You can even go as low as 5, I've found here. So at the moment, it's just at 11 there, you can see. So the gimbal can accommodate external microphones. Here I have the Rode Video Mic Me on here, which is a 3.5mm higher quality microphone than you find built into your own mobile phone. So this is a directional microphone and it's perfectly fine on here. As long as you balance the gimbal first, it is going to work with this external microphone on there. So here I'm going to test out the stabilization. So I've got a Galaxy S7 in the gimbal, the Smooth 3, and then a Galaxy S6 Edge Plus, which is on the left of the screen. Both of these phones have optical image stabilization, but you can see the difference that the gimbal is making here. It's just so much smoother. And I'm just going to do a short jog now. So now I'm using the front-facing camera on my Galaxy S7, which doesn't have optical image stabilization. It still does a really good job, even if I was to run along now. So I'm now in what's called the fixed mode, so the camera will keep pointing in the same direction no matter where I walk. So if I move over this way, it will keep aiming more or less about the same place there. You can see the stabilization is doing a really good job. Just walking normally, I'm not wearing special shoes or walking in a special ninja way or anything like that. Now let's check out what it's like at doing some cinematic shots, so slow pans. I've set it to quite a slow mode here, so that's on the fastest setting, but I've of course tweaked it. So as you can see from that footage there, the stabilization of the Smooth 3 is very good. It is just as good as the Smooth Q. In fact, I can see no distinguishable difference between them. The footage, the stabilization seems to me to be exactly the same. They both have their 5th gen stabilization and really do a very good job. If you compare and look at the front-facing camera, it did a really good job of removing a lot of the shakes, walking around, jumping and things, because this front camera doesn't have optical image stabilization. And if you do have a mobile that does have optical or digital stabilization, then things are going to be even smoother, of course. So overall, it's a very good gimbal. Now, which one should you get out of these two? To me, the choice is quite easy. Now, if you want to save money, you go for this one. If you want to charge your devices on the go with the USB port on the bottom, Bear in mind it does charge quite slow though, it's only 1 amp or so it's not the fastest, then that's the one to go for. But if you want a more premium build quality and you want, of course, a replaceable battery, which is the thing it's got going for it, then obviously the Smooth 3 is the choice there, because you can remove the cover, you can swap out the battery, you can go from empty to 100% straight away, if you have a spare of course. And this one here, if that battery eventually wears out in the Smooth Q, I don't know how you're going to replace it. You're going to have to crack open the case. I can't see any screws on it, so it looks like you're going to have to really just pry that whole thing open and hopefully find a replacement for it. So, overall, decent gimbals, both of them. Thank you so much for watching this review, and I do hope to see you back in the channel soon. Bye for now.